If you live in Vancouver, you know the feeling. You walk out for your morning coffee and your familiar street has been transformed. It's the big production shadow of Hollywood North, the sprawling crews, the towering cranes, and the craft service trucks that become temporary and sometimes disruptive neighbors. For decades, this has been the city's primary cinematic identity, a world-class backdrop for someone else's story, a place where blockbusters are made but not always born. It's a constant, humming presence that shapes the city's rhythm, but it's only one part of the picture. Because in 2025 and into 2026, the force that's been quietly redefining Vancouver's cultural pulse isn't the blockbuster machine. It's the city's fiercely independent heartbeat. It's found in the sold-out independent film screenings, where the director is in the audience, the grassroots photography meetups that turn strangers into collaborators under a gray sky, and the scrappy, artist-run collectives that keep building new stages, even when the city makes it expensive just to breathe. This is where the real story is unfolding in crowded micro-cinemas, repurposed warehouses, and community halls. You can start with the most visible artery, VIFF. In October 2025, the Vancouver International Film Festival once again proved it's more than a series of screenings. It's a civic ritual. It's where film culture stops being a passive experience and becomes something you actively participate in. That distinction is crucial because great festivals do more than just program movies. They create temporary cities within the city hubs of intense creative energy built on post-screening Q&As, impromptu hallway networking, and those vital sidewalk debates that start with, "Wait, what did that ending mean?" By flagging its 2026 festival window well in advance, VIFF sends a clear message. In Vancouver, independent cinema isn't seasonal fluff. It's essential infrastructure. But the real cultural shift is how local pipeline programs turn "I have an idea" into "we're shooting next month." VIFF's Catalyst program explicitly frames emerging filmmaking as cohort-based, peer-to-peer, mentorship-supported, and designed to leave participants with a new network of collaborators. That language is important. It treats film not as solitary genius, but as relationship building by design. Exactly how creative collectives function in practice. Zoom in further and you see the artist-run backbone, Cineworks. Cineworks describes itself as an artist-run production and exhibition center supporting independent filmmakers and media artists through facilities and initiatives spanning production and exhibition. This is the part of Vancouver culture tourists rarely see. A place where independent film is not content. It's a community service, workshops, screenings, access, and the gritty logistics that make experimentation possible. And on the ground and online, Cineworks' own social channels keep circulating programming, free screenings, local documentaries, community events where the audience is often one handshake away from the filmmaker. Then there's the pressure test. Vancouver keeps failing and artists keep surviving anyway. Space. In a city where commercial real estate values have skyrocketed, cultural organizations are often the first to feel the squeeze. Nonprofits and artist-run centers operate on razor-thin margins, making them incredibly vulnerable to sudden rent hikes or the loss of a lease. This isn't a new story, but it's a persistent one. In 2025, VIVO Media Arts publicly described a rent affordability crisis that threatened its very existence. The response was immediate and heartfelt, a testament to the community's investment. Artists donated works for an emergency auction, and a flood of small individual donations poured in, helping to keep the doors open. VIVO's messaging framed survival not as a given, but as a collective responsibility. The art newspaper also covered this emergency context, exactly the kind of "if this space goes, the scene goes with it" moment that forces a city to decide whether it wants culture as branding or culture as a living thing. This is where independent film and media arts become openly political. These aren't just buildings, They are incubators for collaboration, mentorship, and shared experience. If the venue disappears, the culture doesn't simply move online. It fractures, losing the very physical and social infrastructure that allows it to thrive. In parallel, photography is experiencing its own renaissance, and street photography feels like the most Vancouver medium imaginable. It's a practice built on the city's fundamental rhythms: walking, watching, and noticing the subtle, everyday poetry of the streets. The Vancouver Street Photography Collective, or VAN-SPC, perfectly illustrates how creative identity gets built now. It's not just one thing, it's a hybrid space, part gallery, part tight-knit community, and part the vibrant ongoing energy of a group chat where everyone is constantly sharing discoveries. This structure fosters a sense of belonging and shared purpose that goes beyond just taking pictures. A typical group walk might see members gathering on a Saturday morning in Gastown, then dispersing to capture the interplay of historic architecture and modern life. It's a quiet, focused exploration. VAN-SPC also turns its Instagram feed into a living exhibition. They issue weekly prompts like "Find the color red" or "Capture a reflection" that act as an open, algorithm-powered invitation to participate. Suddenly, your daily commute becomes a creative assignment. This approach aligns with a broader understanding of photography as a collective, world-building practice. It's not about individual output, but about a shared vision. The point isn't just "look what I shot," it's "look what we are all noticing together." If you want the clearest 2026 is going to look different signal, watch how institutions are formally making room for collectives. A City of Vancouver issued call for the Vancouver Civic Theatre's Visual Arts Program 2026 explicitly welcomes artist collectives and outlines seasonal exhibition periods across 2026, plus fees and community engagement opportunities. That's a subtle culture shift. It legitimizes collaboration as not just acceptable, but desirable. Collectives aren't a workaround anymore, they're a category. Put all that together and you get what Vancouver culture increasingly means in 2025-2026. Not a single scene, but an ecosystem of scenes. Festival to cohort pipelines, artist-run centers, social-first photography communities, and new institutional doors cracked open for collectives. And academically, this maps onto what researchers have long observed about cultural production in Vancouver. Creative industries grow through embedded relationships and networks, not just budgets and venues. In other words, Vancouver's independent culture doesn't win by outspending. It wins by outconnecting.